Last week, Attorney General Gentner Drummond said he would no longer prosecute members of tribal nations for hunting on state lands in Indian country without a permit. Keep in mind, there is no hunting compact in place right now either. That expired a long time ago. In a statement, he said, quote, "I will not permit a petulant lame duck governor to further injure the state's relationship with our valuable tribal partners simply because he is unwilling to compact. This is another senseless attempt to ignore the sovereignty of the tribal nations in Oklahoma, and it cannot be tolerated." The AG went on to say he will take over all cases involving tribal citizens hunting without a permit on Indian territory, and he will dismiss them. Drummond will be here on In Depth on Thursday. But joining me on the program tonight to respond is Governor Kevin Stitt. And while he was here, we wanted to ask him about last night's vote to fund food banks during the government shutdown. Governor, what is the plan for the next 7 months with this $1 million? How will this money work to help out with the SNAP situation?
Yeah, well, first off, this is a federal program, and we need the federal government to solve this. You know, Congress has got to fix this. This is a budget shortfall for states all over the country. So we're doing what we can to engage the nonprofits, the food banks. And so I've met with the speaker and the pro tem, and we have put aside money to fund some of our food banks to make sure people have the food that they need. But this is really a federal government issue. We've got to get them to fix this. I believe it'll be fixed over the next couple of weeks.
How would a food bank access this money? Do you already have partners picked out, or where this money is going to specifically go?
Yeah, so we want, well, it's going to be the Eastern and the Regional Food Bank, and then they distribute to all the other food banks around the state. But we want, you know, the churches involved too. So I'm asking all the churches to go to beaneighbor.org to sign up for distribution, to also donate money to our food banks to meet the needs of their community. And then I want the people that are having these issues, these food insecurity issues, I want them to go to beaneighbor.org as well and to sign up and to find out where they can get connected to services. So really the churches, the nonprofits, they're going to have to step up during this time of crisis.
What I'm wondering, and have they expressed this to you? This is usually their time when they're stocking up on Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. Now they've got to tap into all of that. Is there some concern that this might impact the holiday season giving we usually see out of them?
Well, we sure hope not. But I think Oklahomans, the Oklahoma Standard will be at display. That's why I've tapped these emergency funds. That's why we're monitoring this. I've been working on this for the last 3 weeks as we knew that this was a potential that would happen on November 1st. There's also other programs that we're already working on that, God forbid, if the government shutdown continued through December 1st, the other programs that are affected at that point. So, you know, again, I'm proud of the Oklahoma delegation. They've put this up to vote 13 times, and the Oklahoma delegation has voted every single time to open the federal government. We've got to get this open. Congress has got to fix this. And that's where people need to understand that, you know, enough is enough. Let's stop playing politics in Washington, D.C. Oklahomans are just trying to take care of each other. And unfortunately, Congress isn't doing their job.
Governor, what do you think about the $1 billion in additional spending the agencies have submitted for the next fiscal year? I think even Senator Hall said no one's going to get everything they want, but $1 billion does sound like a lot of more new money on top of what's already been budgeted.
Yeah, you know, this will be my 8th session, and I'm used to this. In 2019, my very first session, I think the agencies requested $2 billion more. And so, you know, I'm always pushing for flat budgets. We have to be efficient with the taxpayer dollars. So we'll go look at those needs. Not every agency reports to the governor. And that's the problem that people don't understand. There's a lot of statewide elected officials that are asking for bigger budgets. And if it was up to me, Oklahomans know me well enough that I believe in limited government, lower taxes. I've cut $1 billion in taxes since I've been governor. And we're growing as a state because when you're the most business-friendly state, guess what? That helps education, that helps infrastructure, that helps healthcare. Everybody wins when we continue to get our economy booming. And that's what's happening in Oklahoma. So I'm so proud of what we've done so far. We've given teachers big pay raises. I put Lyndall Fields in as the new superintendent of education. He's doing an amazing job. I think he submitted a flat budget which so I'm so proud of him. But yeah, there's a lot of agencies that are requesting stuff, and we'll get in there, and the legislature will have a tough job of trying to figure out where the priorities are, where the needs are, and where there's a bunch of wants, right? So there's wants and there's needs, and that's our job as officials, is to determine what's balancing that for the Oklahoma taxpayer.
Your reaction to the Gintner-Drummond news release about tribal hunting and being referred to as a lame duck?
Well, I've got two big problems with what the Attorney General did there. Number one, nobody in the state of Oklahoma wants justice to be determined based on your race. And that's basically what I call lawless Drummond wants. He wants to base prosecution based on your race. The second problem I have with it is, when you do something for your political allies, people see right through it. People can see exactly what's happening. And I ask this question. This was on state-owned land. So you have an Indian hunting on state-owned land, and they don't get prosecuted? It's unbelievable that the Attorney General came in and dismissed that. So we have to have laws that apply to everybody equally. I mean, I can't even believe you have to say that you have a whole set of rules based on race, according to lawless Drummond. But here's the other deal. The Oklahoma Department of Wildlife and Conservation, the whole reason for that department is to preserve wildlife for the next generation. So what lawless Drummond is saying is that an Indian can poach deer. He can hunt without a license. There is no licensing for him. There is no licensing. He can hunt out of season, in season. There is no season. That's just unbelievable to me. And I think most Oklahomans that have grown up here like I have, we have to have rules. We cannot have rules based on your race in the state of Oklahoma.
What is your next step in combating that if you disagree with it? Do you seek an injunction of some kind or executive order of some kind? What are your next steps in this?
Well, there's some things we're working on behind the scenes, because I'm not going to sit back and allow lawless Drummond to go in and dismiss a case that an elected district attorney has filed just because it's what his political allies want, right? So in other words, everybody sees right through this. You don't want an attorney general. You don't want a governor that's beholden to tribal governments or any kind of political subdivision or any kind of special interest. That's exactly what we don't want. We hate that type of corruption in state government. So we're going to do something here. We're going to make sure that people get prosecuted. If you notice, he didn't even quote anything in the law. There is no, the law is on our side, and I think we're going to prove that out in a court of law. But to go in and dismiss something that an elected district attorney filed, there's just a pattern that he's been doing this more and more lately.
Final question for you. With that phrase lame duck, I've heard a couple of people use it. You still have the power of the pen in one more session. I imagine you're not just going to sit there. Do you fight back against this lame duck title with one more session to go? I mean, we're still, I think, a year out from the next election.
Oh, listen, absolutely. I mean, I've never been more energized for my 8th session, but that's what all the political insiders said about me when I ran for governor. They said, you can't win. I mean, remember, I was a business guy. I'd never been into politics and decided to run for governor. Now I'm going to go back to the private sector after my time in public service is up. And that's what people hate about politicians, is them running for their next election. Instead of trying to do the job that they're elected to do, let's get back to working for the people of Oklahoma, regardless of what your political allies want you to do or special interest groups want you to do. Oklahomans see right through it. The reason I'm governor is because they didn't want more of the same. And so my 8th year will be my 7th year was my best year ever so far. And I think my 8th year will be my best year ever.
Again, out of fairness, we will have Attorney General Gintner-Drummond on In Depth to speak unedited about the hunting decision and other topics right here on Thursday on In Depth. Hope you'll join us. We'll be right back.